Welcome back to the 89th episode of the BatChums podcast. I'm Drew Leiter, and joining me tonight is my co-host, the man, the myth, the new legend, Mike Gordon.
Howdy. And every time we see this villain, I just think of that Steve Martin song, Funky Tut. King Tut. Uh yeah, I'm jamming to that. Although that would come much later than this episode. About 10 years, 12 years, I don't know, something like that later.
So this is Batman Season 2, Episode 53, King Tut's Coup. Episode aired Wednesday, March 8th, 1967, directed by James B. Clark, with the teleplay by Stanley Ralph Ross and the story by Leo and Pauline Townsend.
So and we've mentioned, Clark and Ralph Ross a number of times. They're pretty much most of the episodes are going to be featuring those guys directing and writing. But newly added here are the writing team of Leo and Pauline Townsend. Now, uh, they Leo Townsend was a writer of screenwriter of some regard. He had written a lot of movies in the 50s, mostly B-level stuff. But in the 60s, he started to get like a really big thing going because he did a number of beach blanket movies, the ones with Annette and what am I thinking? I just drew a blank. Annette Funicello and that guy.
I know who you're talking about.
Oh man, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Anyway, I'm sure listeners and viewers have either have switched this off or are just like it doesn't matter, or they just are yelling it at me. So I'm sure they will let me know. But anyway, so he did those. Now, Pauline didn't write a lot. She didn't write on her own, but she did contribute to some of his other works, including this story, and they together did 3 episodes of Bewitched around the same time. But it looks like after this, around this time, they stopped writing, both of them, and I think they stopped being a couple too. I think they got divorced shortly thereafter too. So I don't know exactly behind the scenes of all that, but yeah, some interesting. But I think it's the first time we've ever seen a husband and wife um, team up to contribute to the story, and it might be, Drew, the first time we have a woman contributing to the story.
It is the start of a new semester at ivy-covered Yale University. The professor of Egyptology outlines his plans with 2 students that are on the football team. One of the players heard that the professor flipped out a while back, assuming the identity of King Tut. The professor explains that he suffers from a unique combination of amnesia and identity transference. It only happens when he suffers cranial concussions. However, there is no need to worry. He protects his head with a hard hat. The professor pulls off the hat and shows the boys.
Yeah, for those people listening, it is not a hard hat like you wear in a construction site or you see in a construction site. It is a bowler hat that has a lining that we presume is metal, or of protective of some kind.
Well, when he pulled off the hat and showed them, it looked like they had put a bowler hat over the top of a hard hat to me. A maintenance man who was working at the second-story window above the group accidentally kicks off 2 flower pots. They land directly on the football players' heads. Stunned, the football players fall to their knees. They begin hailing the almighty Tut, Prince of Darkness, of all that's mean and evil. The maintenance man then accidentally knocks off a vase from the windowsill, falling on the professor's head while his hat is off. King Tut claims that the gang is all here.
The gang's all here. And now we go.
That
This
that
is,
was
go
that
ahead.
was ridiculous.
Well, I mean, come on. Uh, but buckle up, Drew, because it's not going to get any less ridiculous. Um, this is Victor Buono appearing. This is his fifth appearance out of 10, a total of 10 appearances as King Tut on the series. So this is we're at the halfway mark of his reign as King Tut. Um, and so it's always great to see him in this role. This is the second time he's doing this season, and of course he did one two-parter the first season as well. Now the students. Interestingly enough, they will go by names Lord Chancellor and Royal Jester. Royal Jester is played by Tim O'Kelly, 1941 and 1990. He's only got a few, like 18 acting credits, but he should look familiar to you because he was in season one of this series. He played one of the Joker's henchmen in The Joker Goes to School. He played, actually, no, I'm sorry, he played one of the students. He played Pete in The Joker Goes to School. So he's been on this show before. He's also in the movie Targets, 1968, really good movie with Boris Karloff. And he played Danny or Dano, as he would come to be known, the character Danny in the Hawaii Five-O pilot. He didn't go on to play the character in the series, but in the actual Hawaii Five-O pilot, he played Danny. And that's Tim O'Kelly. Now, Lord Chancellor is played by Lloyd Haynes, and that he was around from 1934 to 1986. I think this is the first instance that we have of a henchman of color in the show, so I think that's notable. He had 34 acting credits, including he was in two episodes of The Green Hornet. He was in a series. He was a series regular on a series from the late 60s, early 70s called Room 222. And he also was in multiple episodes in the 80s of General Hospital. But if he looks somewhat familiar to you, Drew, it's because he also was in a pilot of a series, and that was the pilot. Well, he's in, not the pilot, I'm sorry. He's in the first episode that was filmed for the series of Star Trek, the original series. He's in the pilot where no
Oh
man has
yeah,
gone
that's
before.
right. When I was when I was looking through their credits on IMDb, I saw he was in that the the
Yeah,
one that
he's
eventually
he,
becomes the cage.
no, not that one.
Not that one?
No,
Which one
he's
was it
in
then?
that's the pilot. That's the pilot.
Oh, I'm
And
thinking
so that's so
of
the first episode it's
Where No Man Has Gone Before.
it's yeah, it's confusing because for Star Trek, I know we're going off on a tangent, folks, sorry. But with Star Trek, there was a pilot that did not have Kirk in it, but instead had
Christopher
Je-
Pike.
yes, Jeffrey Hunter as Christopher Pike, and Spock was in it, and a bunch of other characters too. And that gave the network something that they could look at and say, okay, we'll sign off on that. But they didn't like the lead guy, so they changed it for the series. And then the first episode that was filmed was called "Where No Man Has Gone Before." But the network thought that one was too intellectual, too dry. They wanted something with action to start off. So they actually aired the second episode that was filmed called Man Trap first. So when you talk about the first episode of Star Trek, the original series, it gets kind of convoluted. But anyway, he's in the episode. This guy, Lloyd Haynes, is in the episode where No Man Has Gone Before. I believe he's on the bridge. I believe he's a bridge officer in the back. But yeah. So anyway, so you've got two guys, and he went on to have a great career. Like I said, he had like 34 acting credits over his career as well. So pretty solid actor.
We better get back to the story. People start thinking we're Earth Station Trek.
Yeah, we'll have to do a crossover. Hey, I'm surprised that crossover hasn't really been officially done yet. But maybe at some point.
Yeah, we sure have had a lot of crossover stuff with Star Trek. So
Well, settle in, sir, because there's more to come in this very episode.
Later that night at the Gotham City Museum, King Tut and his two companions knock out a security guard and steal a sarcophagus. At Commissioner Gordon's office, Chief O'Hara reports that the guard is still unconscious. Commissioner Gordon states that in times like these, there is only one man who can help solve the problem: Bruce Wayne.
So I just wanted to put a pin on the attack on the security guard was pretty brutal. I don't think we don't see the villains do that kind of like violence very often. And it escalates as this episode goes on, which is kind of an undercurrent. Sometimes, like I said, this show can do some dark things, and they kind of wave it off. But I did feel like there was a darkness to this one that we hadn't seen in some of the other King Tut episodes.
Shocked, Chief O'Hara repeats, Bruce Wayne, not Batman? Commissioner Gordon explains that there's an Egyptian costume ball at the Gotham City Hotel tonight, and Bruce Wayne is the chairman. Perhaps he knows something that they don't. At Wayne Manor, Bruce Wayne is dressed up like Caesar. Aunt Harriet and Dick Grayson are also in costumes. Bruce states he can't wait to see Lisa dressed as Cleopatra. Alfred walks in and announces that Bruce Wayne has a phone call in the study. It's Commissioner Gordon. Aunt Harriet wonders what Commissioner Gordon would want with Bruce Wayne. Bruce answers they will soon find out. Out loud, Dick can't imagine Alfred making an error like that. Aunt Harriet wonders what Dick said. He replies nothing. Bruce is shocked at Alfred's breach of security. Alfred explains that the call was for Mr. Wayne, not Batman. A feeling inside Alfred suggested that he should take the call in the study.
It is a
What a
kind of a cool
scene.
scene because they're the looks on Bruce and Dick's faces when he's like coming in and he's like, Commissioner Gordon for you, call him the study, and they're like, what are you doing? Like you're not whispering like it's the red phone or it's the bat phone or whatever, like yeah. So it's a pretty nice scene, and we do see Madge Blake again, so that's pretty cool
In costume.
in costume, along with Dick's in costume as well. Yes, if I don't know if it's obvious, I think they say it at some point, but Bruce is dressed up like Julius Caesar, and Dick is dressed up like Mark Antony.
Commissioner Gordon asked Bruce Wayne what the significance of the robbery of a sarcophagus might have on circa 1300. Bruce answers that 1300 BC was the era in which King Tut trod the land. Commissioner Gordon had hoped it was a publicity stunt, but obviously their old nemesis King Tut may have returned to haunt them. Bruce suggests that Commissioner Gordon call Batman immediately. Chief O'Hara comments that millionaires aren't so dumb after all. Commissioner Gordon adds, otherwise they would have never become millionaires.
So, so Gordon says there's only one man that can help us, and of course, everybody thinks that he's going to say Batman, and Chief O'Hara calls him on it. He's like, "Yeah, Batman, right?" And he's like, "No, Bruce Wayne," and they call Bruce Wayne, but Bruce Wayne just says, "Call Batman." It's like, what are you calling me for? Just call Batman. It's like, okay, he's pretty smart. Yes, smarter than you, Commish.
Commissioner Gordon calls Batman, telling him the worst has come to pass. Batman
Not the
states
worst
he
is yet to
knows.
come.
Batman states he knows. King Tut is back in Gotham City. They will be right there. To the bat poles. Commissioner Gordon hangs up the phone. Absolutely incredible. You'd think the man could read his mind.
He looks right at us when he says that too. He doesn't look at O'Hara. He looks right at us. There's a lot of like breaking the fourth wall in this episode. We haven't seen Gordon do it in a while, but he was doing it a lot, I think, first season or second season at the beginning. But yeah, he just turns right to us. It's like, right, folks? Like, yeah, no, we know. We know something you don't, buddy.
At police headquarters, the Cape Crusaders, Commissioner Gordon, and Chief O'Hara ponder what scheme King Tut is up to. Commissioner Gordon receives a telephone call informing him that Bod Banks, the talented Middle Eastern pantomimist, has been found in his swing has been found in his swank suite at the Oasis Hotel, barely alive. Batman and Robin decide to check it out for clues.
Yeah, again, brutal beating. He was beating brutally, and uh, I mean, I'm like, wow, this is not usually the case. I mean, Tut and his henchmen, his football players, are just beating the crap out of people, which, like I said, we don't usually see that kind of behavior from the villains. That is just kind of striking.
King Tut returns to his hideout at the Pyramid Club and is greeted by Neela, who asks, Tut, baby, what's shaking? Tut answers, Batman's head, unless I miss my guess.
Okay, so you forgot the part that the Pyramid Club is located in an underdeveloped suburb.
Oh, I didn't forget. I mentioned that coming up sometime.
Gotcha. That's the first time. Yeah, the narrator says it here, I think. But anyway, here we get introduced to Nella, and Nella is played by Grace Lee Whitney, who was around from 1930 to 2015. She has a lot of credits, but almost everybody recognizes her as Yeoman Janice Rand in the original series Star Trek, which she was only in 8 episodes, which I thought she was in more than that. But she did a lot of appearances. She appeared in a lot of the movies, like cameos here and there in some of the movies and some of the other. She was in an episode of Voyager. She is and she's been featured in some of the other like books and comics and everything like that. So Janice Rand or Yeoman Rand is a very notable recurring Star Trek character. And so, yeah, I recognized Grace Lee Whitney right away. I actually had the pleasure of meeting her. But we talked more about Star Trek than we did Batman at that time. So I didn't even remember, I think, at that time or realize that she was in an episode of Batman at that time when I met her. But she was very nice. And yeah, she passed away in 2015. So she started, interestingly enough, one of her first earliest roles was in the movie Some Like It Hot with Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis and Marilyn Monroe. She has an credited scene in there. I think she's one of the girls, but yeah, so keep a lookout for that when you see that classic movie. But Grace Lee Whitney.
King Tut opens a sarcophagus and stands in it. Neela may be goddess of the Nile, but Tut is the king, and soon will claim his queen, the lovely Lisa Carson, daughter of wealthy socialite Johnny Carson. She will be appearing tonight at the Egyptian ball as Cleopatra. Her escort will be millionaire Bruce Wayne as Julius Caesar. Neela
Yeah,
wondered,
obviously the Carson thing is a riff on Johnny Carson, the talk show host, who was around back then. So I think he was doing the Tonight Show by that point. But yeah, I don't think I need to know. I don't think I need to explain who Johnny Carson is, but maybe I don't know. But yeah, and also Lisa Carson. The name Lisa Carson is the maiden name of Stanley Ralph Ross's wife.
oh, I did not know that.
So you could say that as Johnny Carson. I did not know that. That is some weird and wild stuff.
Neela wonders where that will leave her. King Tut suggests she could be a lady in waiting.
And
One
and
of
I should point out, sorry, I should point out too, because the way you said it, it was Johnny Carson, but it's actually, and it's you don't see it until the credits, but it's John middle initial E Carson. So they're
Oh,
saying
okay.
Johnny, but it's John E. Carson. So
One of the henchmen is about to speak when King Tut shouts, "Silence, Tutlings! I have
Tutlings.
been reincarnated, as the whole world knows, and know so has the lovely Cleopatra."
Okay, so let me take a quick second here because once again, they're playing fast and loose with history here and glumming everything together. Julius Caesar, Cleopatra, King Tut, Tutankhamun, Mark Antony, Romans, Egyptians, and it's like to them, it's like all the same thing. So it's like, um, so most people probably know that Julius Caesar was around BC, like he was around from 100 BC to 44 BC. It's so weird because it's backwards, but it's 100 to 44. So he was, around for 60 years or so. Cleopatra was also around that time. She was around from 70 BC to 10 BC, and they had a thing. They actually had a kid together. And Mark Antony was a colleague of Julius Caesar, and he also hooked up with Cleopatra as well. You can see all those movies with the three of them and all that kind of stuff too. Mark Antony was around from 83 to 30 BC. So you know you've got that group of folks, and they're all Julius Caesar and Mark Antony are Romans. They're part of the Roman Empire. And Cleopatra, of course, is the queen of the Nile. She is the Egyptian Empire. So, and they sort of link up both in every sense. um, but King Tut, Tutankhamun, was around from 1341 to 1323 BC. So he was around over 1,000 years before Caesar, Cleopatra, and Mark Antony. Now, prior to this, when we'd seen Tut, I think the first time, right, he was with he was with a girl that called herself Nefertiti. That makes more sense. She was a contemporary of Tut's. She was around from 1370 to 1330. So they overlapped a little bit there. But but they were both like that was way, way, way before. So the fact that King Tut would have the hots for Cleopatra is just like crazy. Like it's just mixing up all of that stuff. Um, Not to mention that the fact that, and I think we've talked about this before, but King Tut was quote unquote the boy king. He died when he was 18. So, because of things, we know a lot more about Tut than I think they did at that time. But yeah. So I just, the show's bonkers, so I don't really give them too much credit for when they get things tremendously wrong. But it is just kind of like, funny how they just kind of mesh everything all together. Like, oh, it's all the same time period. It's like, not really. Like 1,000 years differentiate them. That's a long time, Drew.
Yes. Elsewhere, the Cape Crusaders back climb their way to Bod Sphinx Hotel Suite. Suddenly, Susie Knickerbocker sticks her head out the window. She tells Batman she goes where the action is: the Caribbean, the Riviera, the Greek islands. Wherever there's glamour, that's where she is.
So
Susie,
I'm guessing since last week you weren't really that familiar with Edward Gene Robinson. I'm guessing that Susie Knickerbocker is not known to you.
no.
So Susie Knickerbocker was a character, a name, a character that was played by Eileen Mayle. I think Mayle is her last name. Sorry, Mehle. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And she was around from 1918 to 2016. She only recently passed away, 2016, almost 10 years ago. But now she did some appearances as herself, or as Susie Knickerbocker. She was on a few episodes in the 60s of To Tell the Truth and What's My Line, but she was pretty much known for being a columnist. So she was known for being Susie Knickerbocker. Susie, those were her pen names. in the 60s because she wrote a daily society column named Susie Says, and she did that for the New York Journal newspaper. She also would later on write for some magazines like W and Women's Wear Daily. So she had a column. She was known as Susie Knickerbocker, but that wasn't her actual real name. That was her columnist pen name. She was known more as a columnist than she was an actor. So uh, I'm not surprised that you don't recognize her because, well, even newspapers now are very rare to find. So, let alone newspaper columnists. So, I mean, now she would have a TikTok, right?
Yeah. Or a
So,
YouTube channel.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, she might be one of the most obscure cameos, I think, for people nowadays that we've seen. Because she really was just only mainly famous for doing the column. So unless you're familiar with old newspaper columnists, like this one's just gonna like completely go by you. So
Susie hears that millionaire Bruce Wayne is really one of the hippies with his marvelous money and fantastic Wayne Manor.
hippies.
Batman states that in fact, Mr. Wayne is basically a very serious young man. Susie interjects that sometimes those serious ones fool you. Susie wonders if Batman got his costume in London or Rome. Batman believes in patronizing local craftsmen. There's a guy right here in Gotham City who makes great capes and cowls.
That's what Robin chimes in.
Holy jet set! Susie plans to include Batman in her column. She wonders who they really are. Probably a couple of international playboys. Who else would climb walls? Uh, If I remember right, Batman actually corrects Susie, telling her it's stately Wayne Manor.
Not hippie Wayland Manor.
Batman and Robin climb in the window of Bod Sphinx Hotel Suite. The Cape Crusaders find Mr. Sphinx tied up with a hangman's noose around his neck.
So, so Mr. Sphinx is in quite a predicament. But he doesn't look like he's been brutally beaten. But he does look like he's really suffering here. Mr. Sphinx is played, I think it's Faud, right? Sphinx is played by Richard Bacalian, I think, is his last name. Again, no disrespect intended. He was around from 1931 to 2015. He has over 150 acting credits, including multiple appearances on this series. He was in a two-parter from season one, Death in Slow Motion and The Riddler's False Notion. He played one of the henchmen there. And we will see him three more times next season. He'll be in three episodes in season three. So, in addition to those, he started acting in 1954, and he did all the usual TV series appearances, guest stars. He was in Mannix for three episodes. He's in an episode of Kolchak the Night Stalker, Bionic Woman. He's in the movie Return to Witch Mountain. He was in three episodes of Charlie's Angels. But probably most notably, he was in the movie Chinatown from 1974 with Jack Nicholson. Then he worked up until 2008 when he was in an episode of My Name is Earl. So he was quite around. He was working for quite some time. But yeah, so if he looks familiar to you, that's because we've already seen him from season one, and yeah, we will see him again, despite his predicament that he's in right now. He will be playing a different character, I'm sure, in season three.
Mr. Sphinx informs Batman that King Tut left him a note, but it's written in an ancient tongue, circa 1300 BC, King Tut's era. The note will require further study back at the Batcave. Batman and Robin prepare to leave when Mr. Sphinx calls after them. He wants to know if it would be all right if somebody could untie him. Batman answers, of course. Batman shouts at the officer to untie this poor fellow.
Yeah, because they can't be bothered.
No kidding.
Now, it is noted. I think before they get there, I think Batman or Commissioner Gordon says something like, tell them to not touch anything or just leave it as it is. So therefore, they can't cut him down prior to Batman and Robin getting there because they're disturbing the scene. But yeah, why Batman and Robin don't cut him down immediately, I don't know. Like, and he's just like hanging there, literally hanging with a noose around his neck. And yeah, they show no signs of compassion for him, which is kind of weird because you'd think they would, but
Back at the Batcave, Batman feeds the scroll into the electronic translator. The message reads, I, the great King Tut, have returned to Gotham City to wreak havoc, er, to wreak revenge on Batman and his accursed champion, and next in importance to claim my own.
yeah, see, we're feeding stuff into the back computer again.
Can't stop that Bat computer's hungry.
I mean, I don't know who cleans, well, it's Alfred. I was gonna say I don't know who cleans the back computer and the remains, but I mean that stuff's got to go somewhere, and I would imagine it's up to Alfred to have to clean it. So sorry, Alfred, but that doesn't sound like any fun to me.
Nope, especially getting alphabet soup letters out of the Bat computer.
Exactly.
Batman calls Commissioner Gordon to inform him that they have translated the scroll. Whatever his plan, with the ancient Egyptian ball tonight, Batman has a feeling their evil friend may put in an appearance there. Commissioner Gordon promises to have officers disguised as Egyptians. Commissioner Gordon orders Chief O'Hara to have 7 of his best men at the ball tonight, disguised in Egyptian costumes.
Okay.
I had a different word there that I didn't know how to pronounce. Chief O'Hara comments, Gotham City's finest, dressed up like a bunch of heathens. May the saints may the saints preserve us.
Hmm.
Chief O'Hara kills me with his saints preserve us. And back at the hideout, back at his hideout, King Tut informs his minions that Mayor Linseed is away on one of his frequent visits to the Asian front. Deputy, Deputy Mayor Zordi will be acting in his stead, and tonight he will be disguised as he. And tonight I will be disguised as he.
Yeah, the it's kind of an interesting thing here because they mention that Mayor Linseed is visiting the front on the boys on the front and the east or whatever, and that's like a reference to Vietnam or yeah, I think it would be Vietnam at this point, and that's
Mhm.
like that's pretty unusual for this show. And but I also noted here too. Yeah, apparently the original story was featured Marilyn Seed, who we've talked about before, is a play on Mayor John Lindsay of New York City, back around that time period when he was the New York City mayor. So they what they did was since the actor Byron Keith wasn't available, they substituted this character, Mayor Zordi, Deputy Mayor Zordi, who in this episode, and he's a pun on the name of the Los Angeles mayor, Sam Yorty, who was mayor from 1961 to 1973.
At the Egyptian costume ball, the police arrest King Tut as soon as he appears at the ball. Soon after King Tut is arrested, Bruce Wayne, Lisa Carson, Dick Grayson, Penny, and Aunt Harriet arrive at the ball in costume.
So real quick, so one of the cops that arrests King Tut, we'll put him in quotes, is our buddy James O'Hara. You can't really tell because hard to tell because he's masked up, but it's him. And um, I thought it was cool that he makes an appearance as well. And when Harriet and Bruce and Dick show up, Dick's got a girl on his arm and we don't know anything about her.
No, she's actually uncredited,
Yeah, she's
which
uncredited. I don't know. I think she's named. Um, but yeah, she's there, and she even has a line, I think, in this.
yep, which is I was surprised they didn't credit her for it, but
Yeah, yeah. Usually, if you have a line, that means I think you get a credit, or you should anyway. You should get at least more money.
the crowd applauds. Then Bruce escorts Lisa, who is dressed as Cleopatra, to a throne at the front of the room.
So Lisa Carson, aka Cleopatra, dressed as Cleopatra, is played by Lee Merriweather. Boom. She appears in this. Big deal, right? Because this is Lee Merriweather. Yes, Lee Merriweather, who was in the Batman movie as Catwoman.
Yep,
Lee Merriweather is very much alive still. She was born in 1935. She's 90 years old now, but she's still. I don't know if I think her last credit was in 2019, so not too long ago. She was in a movie, featured in a movie called Love and Debt. But in addition to being Catwoman in the movie, she also was played a voice. She did a voice part for Batman and Two-Face, which is the animated movie that was Batman 60s related, where they finally meet Two-Face, who's voiced by William Shatner. Um, that was in 2017. She did a voice for that, but she did not voice Catwoman in that. And then she has a role, or she makes an appearance in that movie Return to the Batcave in 2003 that Adam West and Burt Ward are in. Also, Julie Newmar is in that too. And I think there's a scene where they're together. I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've seen Return to the Batcave, but I'm sure we'll cover it later on this show. Um, but it is cool seeing the two of the three Catwomen share the screen together. But she had a pretty. I probably talked about this when we did the movie, but she did a lot of other things too. Most notably, she was in a lot of episodes of All My Children from the 80s to 2011. She played Lily Munster in the Munsters Today series that ran from 1988 to 1991. She was in 73 episodes of that. She's been in 8 episodes of Mission Impossible. She did 10 episodes of Dr. Kildare. She was in an episode of Mannix. And because we're still going with that tie-in, she was in an episode of Star Trek, the original series. She played Luna in an episode, I think, from the third season called That Which Survives. So she was most notable there. So still a lot of Star Trek Batman connections here, but it's good to see her again. Interesting that she's playing a completely different part. But yeah, it's good to see her.
at police headquarters, three officers escort King Tut before Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara. Chief O'Hara congratulates his men. The city is no longer in peril. King Tut states that the city may not be in peril, but Chief O'Hara and his clumsy clogs are. King Tut removes his mask to reveal Deputy Mayor Zordy.
And he is played by Toll Avery, who was around from 1915 to 1973. He had 142 acting credits on the IMDb. He started in 1950 with a film noir movie called Where Danger Lives. And he actually had an uncredited role as a state police detective in the Hitchcock movie North by Northwest. He also appeared in an episode of Room 222 that we talked about earlier. He's in a couple episodes of Mission Impossible, 3 episodes of Mannix. He did Lost in Space, Get Smart, Maverick. He did 7 episodes of Maverick, actually. But actually, he might seem familiar to you, Drew, because we have seen him in season 1 of Batman, because he played a character named Prescott Belmont in The Joker Trumps an Ace and Batman Sets the Pace. So this is his second foray into the Bat series.
Back at the ball, the evil King Tut arrives admiring the beauty of his soon to be queen. Bruce and Dick recognize King Tut right away. Two men approach Bruce Wayne, revealing that they are police officers. They ask Mr. Wayne if he can help them apprehend King Tut by getting Cleopatra to dance with him and steer him over to the exit where more officers are waiting. They want to capture him quietly without disturbing others. Cleopatra cooperates and dances with King Tut. She tells King Tut it is an honor to dance with him. Tut replies he knows it is. Not every young girl gets a chance to wrap her arms around the king.
So does she know who he is? Like, that's really confusing to me. Like, I'm like, why is she calling him Your Majesty and saying it's an honor to, like, I don't know. I was confused by that.
When Cleopatra and King Tut get to the exit, the men swarm around them and they're gone. Aunt Harriet comments that the dance was short. Penny adds it is not like Lisa to go off with a stranger. Three men come marching into the ball. They ask Mr. Wayne if he has seen King Tut. Bruce replies that the police just took him away. The three men state they are the police. Bruce tells them to notify Commissioner Gordon. Bruce tells Dick to come on, leaving Penny with Aunt Harriet, who exclaims, "Mercy, mercy gracious sakes alive."
Penny, right? That's her name. They did name her, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Penny.
Yep.
So, and I think, yeah, I don't know anything about her. I don't even know who. Like, I couldn't even find, like you said, who plays her because I don't think she's listed in anything. So, yeah, I don't know. But uh, Dick,
But
Dick's got some game.
yeah, but from her one line, she's either related with Lisa or a friend who knows her well. Because
Well,
she
I'll tell you
states that
one.
she wouldn't go off with a stranger like that.
True. And I'll tell you what, too. Bruce and Dick were giving Alfred grief for blowing their secret identities earlier, but they're like going, they've got the two girls between them, the two women, I should say, between them. And when Tut arrives, they're like, let's go get him and all this kind of stuff. We're gonna get, and I'm like, guys, could you keep the superhero talk? Like even in here, it's like, do you know that man? So I thought it was like, come on, man, you get be a little cool about it because you guys are doing a terrible job keeping your identity secret here, despite the fact that you're wearing masks.
In the Batcave, Batman reveals he has placed a tracking device in Lisa's clothes. Batman calls Commissioner Gordon, explaining that they have located King Tut's royal palace, the Pyramid Club, a shuttered roadhouse in an undeveloped suburb. No doubt that King Tut has taken Miss Carson there. With a girl's life in danger, Batman decides that he and Robin should attempt this one alone. This mission has to be accomplished quietly. At King Tut's hideout in the shuttered Pyramid Club, Lisa Carson declares that she is not Cleopatra. She lives right here in Gotham City on the fashionable Lower East part of the Upper West Side. She has a wealthy father who will pay anything to free her.
Now, I should also note too that even though we talked about King Tut and his two football henchmen, Lord Chancellor and Royal Jester, as well as Nellie or Nella, who is there. There's also like a lot of other people there too. There's two other girls. There's some other henchmen there. I think they're pretty much all uncredited as well. Some of them are. I think some of them are just stunt guys or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty happening hideout because there's a lot of people there. It's not
Yeah.
just like the five of them or anything. There's a lot of people there.
King Tut, master of thieves, king of the Nile, moon god of Thoth on his mother's side, reveals that there is not enough money in all the world to rob him of the rapture of having his queen at his side forever. Lisa objects. She is never going to be by Tut's side, ever. King Tut orders Lisa to be taken to the royal dungeon. It's strange how that clammy enclosure can have a warming effect on people. Jester, Lord Chancellor, take her away.
I love the fact that she stands up and they go to grab her and Lee Merriweather just gives him this look like, don't you even think about it. Like and they escort her out of the room, but they do not touch her. And I'm like, wow, Lee Merriweather just like gave them a face.
The Batmobile arrives at the shuttered Pyramid Club, but the door is bolted shut. Robin suggests they use the bat melter on the lock, but Batman thinks they should find other means. So apparently there's a bat melter.
Well, we've seen them use that ray to open up a door before, from the Batmobile, and that kind of that kind of explodes the door. But so it's more of a bat exploder than a melter.
Batman pulls out his batarang and rope. He'll see what he can find from above while Robin stays and watches the door. Inside the Pyramid Club, Jester and Lord Chancellor report that their mission is accomplished. Cleopatra has been locked up, though it sure seems like a waste of money. Of course, it seems like none of their business. King Tut agrees it's none of their business and starts blowing bubbles.
That he does. Victor is so good. He is chewing scenery. He's doing W.C. Fields impersonations. He's saying all these lines that are coming out of nowhere. Like he's just having a great time, and I'm having a great time watching him.
Chester and Lord Chancellor exit the Pyramid Club to discover the first Robin of Spring. They decide to take him to the head bird watcher, the king himself. Jester and Lord Chancellor take the boy wonder before King Tut. King Tut orders the bird of prey tied up.
Wow, that's
If
I mean, they have no idea about this, but just him calling Robin a bird of prey and using the phrase bird of prey, like in the comics, that has like huge ramifications. I mean, that term becomes like the birds of prey are actually a Batman related group of women characters that fight crime in Gotham and everywhere else in the world. And it's just kind of a cool, like, I mean, obviously they didn't know it at the time, but it's just one of those things that nowadays when you see it, you're like, wow, that's inspirational.
right, and there's a birds of prey series going on right now, which is pretty good. It's not only has Oracle in it, it has Cassandra Cain Batgirl in it
Hmm.
and Big Barda. So the series is really good. It's Cletus and I have really enjoyed reviewing it.
Yeah, there's I think the most recent series, if I'm not mistaken, was written by Kelly Thompson, and she was doing a great job on that. So I don't know if she's still on the book or not, but yeah, that has had a lot of good writers on that series and a lot of different incarnations. And of course, it was made into a movie with Harley Quinn featured in it, Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. But yeah, and then it was a series too. Birds of
Yeah,
Prey was a series,
short-lived, but
very short-lived.
yeah.
But pretty fun for those people who want to hunt it down. I don't know if we'll ever do it. Maybe if enough patrons demand it, we can cover Birds of Prey.
If the Cape Crumb is here, no doubt the cowed creep can't be far behind.
Nice line.
Batman jumps down from the skylight. That's right, Tut. A fight ensues. With Robin tied up, Batman attempts to take on King Tut's henchmen by himself. Batman loses when King Tut himself breaks a vase over Batman's head.
I thought it was a great opportunity, and too bad. I mean, because we saw Batman and Robin burst through a window once before, but the idea of Batman jumping down and smashing a roof skylight thing is an iconic comic image that we've seen several times, and I'm like, here, it's going to play out in the scene. No, it doesn't. We don't see it. We see him in the window, and then we see him like kind of jump into frame. It's like, oh man. I mean, I get it. It's a stunt that costs money, but would have been cool.
Now, I just want to note when Tut was hit over the head, he became Tut, or the professor when he was hit over the head by the vase. When Batman was hit over the head with the vase, he stayed Batman.
We don't know. We haven't seen him wake up yet.
King Tut wonders what to do with his mortal enemies that shan't be mortal much longer. For the moment, he will leave the boy wonder tied up, But as for Batman, he is placed inside the royal sarcophagus. The sarcophagus with Batman in it is placed over a pool of water. King Tut prepares to throw the switch and lower Batman into it, but he first gives a speech. Friends, Egyptians, henchmen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Batman, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred into their bones. So let it be with Batman. King Tut throws the switch, lowering the sarcophagus into the pool of water. King Tut continues, "It isn't that I love you any less, Batman, simply that I love me more."
He is quoting all over the place. There's Shakespeare in here from different plays. The famous quote from Mark Antony in Julius Caesar, written the play written by Shakespeare, which is "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come not to bury Caesar, but to praise him." That yeah, that's a nice play on that. There's a play on the Lewis Carroll Mad Hatter poem, "Twinkle Twinkle Little Bat," that he goes on about, and he's just like I said, chewing up all this scenery, throwing in all this stuff. It's a tour de force, really, to watch Victor Bono do this. It's like this really ends on a high note with him just going off like this, and it's awesome.
Bubble, bubble, little bat, at the bottom of the vat. Your wings will dry and soon you'll fly to the great big belfry in the sky.
Yeah, yeah. That's the Lewis Carroll Allison from quote from Alice or poem from Alice in Wonderland by the Mad Hatter. Which,
It, ap-
Mad Hatter was never one. It was a Batman character as well, a villain in the comics. He never gets to. Oh no, we do see him. That's I'm sorry, what am I thinking? Of course, we see the Mad Hatter. He's another Batman villain that we've seen a couple times. So
it,
I almost said we didn't see him. What am I crazy?
it appears to be a death worse than fate. Batman has been in sticky situations before, but never like this. And what of Robin? Who's fit to be tied? Is Batman's is this Batman's Waterloo? Tune in tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, at your own risk.
Yeah, even the narrator's throwing some stuff in there. He talks about is this Batman's Waterloo, which is a reference to, of course, Napoleon, who was another conqueror as well, like Julius Caesar, but Napoleon came much, much, much later and has nothing to do with anything related to this episode. So I don't know why they mention it, but it is kind of fun though. It's fun to have Tut back, and I think he's in great form here. And it's overall fun. It's fun to have Lee Merriweather back as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode a lot. So,
Yeah, it's very, very fun.
all right. Well, that wraps up our episode for this week. Do you have a shout out, Mike?
Well, since we're talking about conquerors, and we are mentioning, we're definitely talking about Adam West, and we're mentioning Star Trek a lot with William Shatner. I have to point out that there is a pilot that was done for TV, a TV series, a potential TV series. In 1963, it aired, and it's about Alexander the Great. And it features in the title role of Alexander the Great, the great William Shatner. But what's notable for our purposes is that Adam West has a role in it as well. And as far as I can tell, this is the only time that Adam West and William Shatner, I almost said William Shakespeare, William Shatner shared the screen together in live action. Now, as I mentioned before, they will later on in an animated movie, but they will perform in an animated movie. But I don't know if they were actually in the same room together. But this pilot is pretty interesting. It also features John Cassavetes, and Joseph Cotton has a role as well. And it's pretty interesting to see. And I think you can find it. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, if it's on YouTube. A long time ago, I found a DVD copy of it. I don't think this is an official product. So just know that. But but it is fun to see. And they did this, of course, in 1963. So this is prior to either one of them hitting it big. So think about it. If this pilot had sold into a series, then probably both these actors would have been unavailable to be in Batman or Star Trek. So I guess we should be thankful that this pilot did not sell as a show, because otherwise it would have been really weird. Well, we wouldn't know. We would just be like, okay, I mean, I guess the Batman part probably would have gone to Lyle Wagner because we already talked about how he was in I guess the final two. It was between him and Adam West, and they went with Adam West. So we might have gotten Lyle Wagner in a parallel universe somewhere. Lyle Wagner is Batman because Alexander the Great as a series got picked up. But no, if you can find it, check it out.
All right. And for my shout out, since King Tut is similar to Maxie Zeus from the comics, I'm going to shout out Batman number 470, which was written by Alan Grant and penciled by Norm Breyfogle. And this issue is part of the War of the Gods event that happened at that time. I don't know if you remember that event or not.
Yeah,
It
that was a
was,
Wonder Woman event.
yeah. So, in the search for the Themysciran goblet, Batman and Robin interrogate some thugs who lead them towards Arkham Asylum. Trying to make a connection between the escape of Cheetah, they learn that Maxie Zeus was released prior to Cheetah's escape, and they deduce that he is holding the goblet, which would tilt the scales in the War of the Gods in favor of good. Batman and Robin break into Maxie Zeus's place, and after a confrontation with the madman and his thugs, they manage to retrieve the goblet thanks to Robin's quick thinking and fast action. Now, at this time, Robin is Tim Drake.
Ah, yeah.
Maxie is returned to Arkham, and Batman analyzes the goblet to find any clues as to why it would help the war. And when he finds the answer, he immediately goes and talks to Wonder Woman. So, so I just
It's an
thought
interesting crossover. The war between the gods is the Greek gods, the Themyscira, Greek/Roman gods, Zeus and Aphrodite and all of them, versus the new gods, Darkseid, Orion, and all of that. So the two, like it's a battle between cosmic gods and Greek/Roman gods, and it's a pretty interesting idea. I have the trade. It's been a while since I read it. I don't know if it lives up to all its potential, but it is pretty cool.
the reason why this issue is memorable to me is because Maxie Zeus is on the cover and he's like, I think he's holding up the goblet or something. So it just sticks in my mind. We'll
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
have it
no.
in the I'll put it in the newsletter as the comic for that week.
And it's a great run too that Grant and Norfolk did. And I really like their time on that series on Batman.
I do
That was fun.
I do too as well. All right. If you'd like to comment on anything we've talked about tonight, you can reach us at our feedback line, 317-455-8411. Text us, leave us a message, or you can email us at batchumspodcast@gmail.com. All right. You ready to get out of here, Batchum?
BatChums ready to move out.
Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Don't worry, more Tut is yet to come. Tut tut.